So we're talking about an elite guy here, a superhuman personality who has chinks in his armor. And that's what I love about these stories is everyone has these chinks. Everyone has things that will knock them for six, but it's learning to put these ingredients in place. These are the ingredients that I would like to get into school. If it works, it's right. People's News. So thank you very much for Phil for sending this one through. This is a short documentary on a guy who is in the SAS He Who Dares Wins. He has the highest possible SAS rank, and this documentary is about mindset. And he's obviously a very driven individual with a powerful sort of mindset. It's very inspirational and empowering stuff to look at certain things like this, because I think we can learn a lot from these superhuman personalities. And if we can take just one or two of these traits and add them to our own experiences in life, then it will go a long way to improve our own sort of mental health and well-being, and enable us to be more successful in life and achieve the things that we want to achieve. This will be on my Facebook page if anyone wants to take a look. It's just a 15-minute little documentary. Took a lot away from this. The ingredients that we're just about to talk about, I've done a lot of reading on self-development and looking into these sort of people with these certain mindsets, and you tend to find the ingredients are all the same for these types of people. So let's unpack it. So what are the ingredients? So it's having the ability to process things that bother you. So Billy talks about getting things off his chest, otherwise he carries it with him and he goes home. So he goes from an intense war environment, and there'll be things that he sees that really bother him. He has to process that before he goes home, before he does that transition, because otherwise he starts to take things out on the people around him. He noticed that was happening, and he noticed that he had to process stuff before going back to his home environment. And the first step of that is to notice, is to start and being sort of real with yourself if that's happening. I've experienced it myself, and where you sort of holding some sort of resentment, and you just need to learn that is something that we can process and let go, and it stands us in good stead to maintaining our well-being and mental health. So he talks about expanding his perception. So he's exposing himself to intense, extreme war environments where he tests what he thinks he knows about himself, and he tests what he thinks he knows about the world around him. And there are lots of ways to do that. We don't necessarily have to go into a war environment to benefit from those traits. Like, for example, I read a book called Battle Scars by Jamie Foxx, and that I took a lot from that. Just these are the elite guys in society, the superhuman guys, but they have chinks on their armor, but they have just a couple of techniques, and they've noticed a couple of things about themselves that if they do it, then they maintain their good mental health and well-being. So Billy exposes himself to war environment where he may see people who have lost their homes, they have lost their families, and then it's obviously tough to see. And suddenly when he gets home and the issue of the washing machine breaking is suddenly a very, very minor issue, it's put things right into perspective. And I think we need to know that there's always, doesn't matter what goes on in our life, there's always someone that is worse off than ourselves. So understanding that, and that type of exposure brings gratitude, which is a very powerful trait. If you can be grateful for the things around you, you are going to be a much more happier person, much more improved mental health, and just being grateful for the simple things around us, as simple as food on our plate. We take that for granted. There's places in the world where that doesn't happen. So personalities, Billy has obviously got one of those personalities that thrives on a challenge, and but the flip side of that is there are personalities out there who are completely happy and comfortable sitting there and doing nothing, and we need to understand that there is absolutely nothing wrong with that, as long as they're not bullshitting themselves, as long as they are genuinely happy sitting on their arse and doing nothing. There is nothing wrong with that, just going through the motions. So he also talks about practicing acceptance. So Billy jumps into a cold river, and straight away he knows if he accepts that it is a cold river and it will make him feel uncomfortable for a short period of time, then it's a much easier thing to do. It's only when you put some resistance alongside whatever you're doing that it becomes a chore, it becomes a lot more effort. And he knows that. He also accepts that the benefits that he gets from this exercise far outweighs any uncomfortable sort of feeling. So things from the past as well. So learning to accept that we cannot change what has gone on in the past. He talks about going into a battle environment and should have done this, should have done that, and the decisions that he is making can be the difference of saving someone's life. So I'd imagine that really does sort of play on him. But learning that these experiences, that these past experiences, they cannot be changed. The only thing we can do is learn from them. We can all take that trait for ourselves, and we can't control what's gone on in the past, but we can learn from it and we can shape ourselves and try and help the situations sort of moving forward. Being flexible with the environment around us. So understanding, again, we can't control everything around us, and life is difficult. Life will not always go to plan, and the sooner we accept that we can't control everything around us, straight away you give yourself a little bit of a platform to expect the waves in life that are going to happen, because it is challenging. One of the challenging things for Billy was his parents. So his parents died quite close to each other. His mother had breast cancer. They were expecting her to pass away. It became a joke at one stage. So Billy would walk into the house and he'd say, are you still here? And they'd both laugh about it. But then suddenly his father died unexpectedly, and that knocked him for six. So we're talking about an elite guy here, a superhuman personality who has chinks in his armor. And that's what I love about these stories is everyone has these chinks. Everyone has things that will knock them for six, but it's learning to put these ingredients in place for yourself, recognizing what is working, following what is working, and improve our own sort of mental health and well-being. These are the ingredients that I would like to get into school. Like, why can't we have someone, I don't know, maybe like Billy going to, early secondary school years, going through his story, and, saying things like, gratitude will get you a long way. Willing type mindset is what you need. Growth type mindset, learning from your mistakes and going through stuff like that, and being flexible. Learning that things in life will not go to plan and things will be difficult, but it's just learning to get around those challenges. Acceptance, practicing acceptance, putting things into perspective. And there's many ways you can do that. And please do send through any other stories that we can look into and unpack.